The United Methodist Church has long affirmed our individual and collective responsibility to address the unfolding climate crisis. We are called by our faith, informed by science, and led by impacted communities to respond with renewed urgency. Today, we share our commitment to net zero emissions.
The genesis of this joint United Methodist climate commitment emerged through conversations among 5 general agencies that already engage in environmental stewardship ministries. The urgency to reduce harmful emissions that contribute to climate change continues to make global headlines. We recognize the value and potential impact that a denomination-wide United Methodist Church initiative could have if we synchronize our voices and coordinate our efforts. We decided to start by inviting our agencies to consider a net zero goal by 2050, aligned with United Nations targets.
Put simply, the term net zero describes the processes by which human-induced greenhouse gas emissions are balanced, are netted out, by removing emissions from the atmosphere. We have seen strong momentum to net zero commitments by 2050, in alignment with guidance from the world's leading climate scientists. Corporate commitments to net zero have tripled in the last year, and 70% of global GDP is now covered by countries that have made net zero commitments.
This commitment aligns our agency's actions with our United Methodist values. Now, General Conference has long stated that we have a responsibility to address the climate crisis. This important step gives life to those words, committing us to achieve net zero emissions and to do so in a way that addresses racial and gender inequities. This is an exciting opportunity for us, together, to live into our United Methodist vision of justice for God's people and for God's planet.
Several agencies are already working toward emission reduction. Global Ministries gathers data on energy usage at key locations from its headquarters to health clinics. UMW leads meetings and campaigns promoting the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. GBCS advocates for policies that reduce emissions as called for in the social principles. WestPath develops sustainable investment portfolios, and GBHEM supports sustainable practices and initiatives at schools, colleges, seminaries, and universities. These activities are also involving other agencies, annual conferences, local churches, organizations, and networks related to the United Methodist Church, thus expanding our collective ability to justly transition to net zero.
How these commitments are fulfilled will vary by agency, conference, and UMC entity, as well as their particular ministry and location. By partnering in this effort together, we have the opportunity to learn from one another and create and share best practices that will help us reach net zero goals and implement sustainable solutions that are centered on justice and equity.
United Methodists are in an uphill battle against the mass suffering created by climate-exacerbated disasters, crop failures, disease, and migration. When we engage in mission and ministry that generates greenhouse gases, we perpetuate that suffering. We must seek a better way to do ministry, and none of us can do it alone. But maybe, just maybe, we can do it together.